Welcome. Imagine yourself breathing in a room so gentle and balanced that you could almost hear the air itself thinking. A soft space where every breath you take feels returned in kind by swaying leaves, where water circles quietly, from mist to drop to stream and back again, and where your own routines become part of a steady rhythm that carries you toward rest. This is the feeling of being tucked inside a perfect biodome, and in a very simple way, it is an everyday reality you already live within, beneath the thin sky that shelters the earth like a delicate glass shell, soft and protective. Settle in. You can let the world slow down here. How sleepy are you on a scale of 1 to 10? If this calm corner feels right to you, you can gently tap, like, and subscribe. And if you want soft science to carry you night after night, you can use the playlist link in the description to keep learning while drifting off. Now allow your shoulders to release a little, and imagine you are inside a dome that is designed to hold a small, complete world. The light arrives through a clear roof that diffuses brightness into a pale, even glow. It is never harsh, never loud. The quiet hum of a fan sounds like a steady breath. Leaves quiver just a touch, the way a resting chest moves at the edge of sleep. The air is pleasantly cool, with a soft hint of damp soil and green stems. A scent like clean rain that has been warmed by a low sun. This place is the picture of balance, and you are part of it. You breathe in oxygen, produced by plants. You breathe out carbon dioxide that they patiently absorb. They drink a thin veil of light. They release water vapor that drifts and condenses on cool glass before sliding back into the soil. The gentle rhythm continues. The ceiling, curved and pale, lets the sunrise in with a warm tint, then shifts toward a daytime clarity that never quite glares, then loosens back into amber as evening approaches in a friendly, unhurried way. Everything is designed to help you feel the ease of a day that understands what your body prefers, a day that moves slowly and purposefully from cool beginnings to restful endings. You notice how the air feels even, like a blanket pulled to the perfect height. Inside a biodome, the mixes of gases are simple numbers that speak of quiet normalcy. Most of the air is nitrogen. A little over 1 part in 5 is oxygen. A smooth trace, measured in droplets of a percent, is argon. Carbon dioxide hovers as a delicate thread measured in parts per million. A whisper you can neither see nor taste, yet it is the connector that keeps the living cycle turning. You step by step fit into this breath exchange, and the exchange fits into you. A steady cadence that asks for nothing more than awareness and patience. The dome's walls make this cadence feel clear. There is no windstorm, only a soft current. There is no hard glare, only a light that is evenly sifted. Your senses notice that this controlled place, however small, turns complexity into something you can understand by feel. Imagine yourself tracing the path of a drop of water. It sits as a bead on the inside of the pane during the early, cool hours. It gathers a friend or two, then slips downward in a slender thread and nestles into a shallow channel that delivers it gently to a low bed of herbs with small, rounded leaves. The leaves are clean and matte, with a faint sheen where the water kisses them. You lean closer and smell a hint of pepper and something like sunlight. The soil is a soft crumble of browns and umbers, cradling networks of roots that knit together like threads in a quilt. In that quilt, tiny organisms go about their quiet work, invisible to your eyes, but lively in their microscopic neighborhoods. They transform what falls to the soil into what rises again as nourishment. This is the nitrogen cycle, and the carbon cycle rendered small and soothing. Ammonia becomes nitrate. Carbon becomes carbonic whispers that drift back into plant fibers. But you do not need to memorize these changes. You can simply feel how the pieces come back around. Your feet carry you lightly along a path of smooth stone set in a shallow bed of moss. The stones are always just warm enough to be comforting. The moss is a green, like a memory of forests. Beyond the herbs, deeper into the dome, you find a grove of small citrus trees. Their branches hold leaves with soft curves, leaves that do not clatter, only hush. Here and there, a pale flower opens, its scent a light hand on the air, almost sweet, almost clean. And you reach a finger toward a petal, as if to rest it there for a moment, but stop just shy of touching, letting the petal be untouched and perfect. You feel, instead, the weight of the air on your finger, a careful coolness that is neither too dry nor too humid. Your skin recognizes the gentle balance the dome honors. There are no drafts, only a light motion. There are no chills, only shade that knows what you need. You settle on a bench made of cedar, sanded to a satin touch. The grain drifts like the calmest water. The bench holds its own warm scent, resinous and slow, like someone took summer and saved it in wood. You sit here and listen. A low fan hums, water trickles, leaves shiver, because a faint current says hello. Everything results in the same simple music. The gentle rhythm continues. When your eyes wander, they find small things: a pale vein on a leaf, a screw head holding a glass pane, a slow bubble rising through a clear tube. Even the technology is gentle. The pump does not clatter. The light does not buzz. The touchscreen on the far wall glows in a soft mode. Numbers move the way the hour hand moves, never jerking, only gliding. You imagine how long a human could live like this, and your imagination feels no urgency. You think of meals that taste green and alive. You think of water that is always fresh, because it has always been here, cycling like a breath. You think of nights that never need to grope for a perfect temperature, because the temperature is already quietly there, held by the habit of the dome. There is no rush, and there is no shortage. There is simply a continuous loop, a friendship between sunlight, leaves, air, and you. You are not trapped here. You are held. That is the feeling the phrase perfect biodome brings to the surface. There is something wonderfully familiar about this, because of course, this is also the way the whole planet greets you. The dome beneath which you live every day has no glass. It has no visible framework. It is a layer of air hugging a sphere, a transparent blanket that drapes over oceans and hills. It is not thick. If the Earth were the size of a classroom globe, the air would be only a faint film of varnish. And still, inside that film, water flows as rain, and mist and river, and carbon and nitrogen stroll from leaf to breath, to soil and back again. You already live inside a dome, which means the gentle discipline of a biodome is not an alien idea. It is your everyday hum. The city around you is like a specialized room in a much larger structure, a handful of chambers within a greater shelter. The gentle rhythm continues. Think of a morning. Outside your window, the air near the ground is cool. Someone a few floors higher might be warmer by a few gentle degrees, because the lowest layer of our big dome, the troposphere, keeps its warmth near the surface. Moist air rises like a shy balloon. Dry air settles. A cloud drifts along like a puff of breath, exhaled without any particular task to do. The sun arrives at a slant, making familiar things more tender. Light is a stream of colors. Leaves drink some of the red and blue, and the green they reflect is the soft green you see in your mind when you start to feel drowsy and calm. Plants open tiny pores on their leaves when the morning is friendly, pores that you cannot see, but that let water out and carbon dioxide in. Those pores, the stomata, open and close in a rhythm that looks like slow breathing, and this breathing draws the whole air into its ritual. In a perfectly tuned biodome, you would adjust lighting to follow the same slow day. Warm tones at dawn, clearer tones midday, amber softness as evening leans in. The exact color matters, not because of fashion, but because your own body listens to color. Blue rich light arrives, and your internal clocks sing a quiet, ready song. Amber arrives, and a hormone called melatonin finds its way into your bloodstream like a hush. The hush your body recognizes as a sign to drift. In your ordinary room, if you switch lights to a warmer, lower brightness in the last part of your day, you mimic the dome's soft approach. The gentle rhythm continues, as if the room around you were a small, friendly experiment in care. All the while, thousands of invisible workers keep the dome balanced. In the soil, bacteria take nitrogen from fallen leaves and release it back as a gift for new growth. Legumes host specialized microbes in small root nodules that look like pale beads, and those beads collect nitrogen from the air, turning something formless into food. Fungi thread delicately through soil, like threads of lace, connecting distant plants. Sugars move along these threads from one root to another, smoothing out the unevenness of shade and sunlight, spreading comfort. You can imagine these connections as soft telephone lines, whispering news of drought and relief. But you do not need to visualize any exact map. You can feel it as a sense of support that runs through the whole bed, a quiet reliability. The more you look for the hard edges, the more you find everything is connected by gradients, swells, sips, and slow exchanges. Overhead, in the global dome, the same patience holds. Warm air rises along sunlit surfaces. It cools and descends in broad, slow loops. Clouds born over the ocean travel, raining here and shading there, not in a hurry, simply in a long amble that takes days. When the cloud deck thickens at night, the world beneath feels less exposed, because clouds hold onto heat a little longer, like an extra blanket laid across a sleeping body. The physics is as soft as the sensation. Energy comes in from the sun. The earth sends energy back out. Greenhouse gases hold and release a little of that energy, like a hand cupping warm tea. A balance emerges, a natural thermostat with many hands. You are not required to run the controls. You can sit and listen to the gentle hum of it. Back inside the small biodome, you lean close to the soft gurgle of a nutrient film in a hydroponic channel. Water glides along a tilted tray, barely covering the roots of bright lettuce. The roots are a pale, silky white, and they tangle in pure calm. A small pump ushers water along. The pump has a steady tone, the kind that becomes the silence after a few moments, because your ears accept it as part of the room. Sensors rest in the stream and tell the system the pH is right. The dissolved oxygen is ample. The solution is rich without being heavy. If the numbers drift, the system adds a drop of this or a drop of that, while you sit and simply watch the leaves lift. The gentle rhythm continues. You think about how strange it is that roots, usually hidden, look so peaceful in the open, like the slow limbs of sea creatures under shallow water. Not everything is high-tech. In one corner, a terracotta pot filled with soil gives you tomatoes the old way. You pinch the top leaves to encourage a stronger stem. You brush a finger lightly across a flower to help it along. Bees would be happy to do this, but in some biodomes, the bees are visitors rather than residents, so your hand becomes a stand-in. The flower barely trembles, and your touch is so soft that it would hardly disturb a sigh. Red fruits arrive by and by. They are small, bright, and a little warm from the light. You pick one and set it on your tongue. It tastes like light that became sugar and then decided to be friendly. The dome holds onto the scent of tomato leaves for a while, green and spicy, a scent that somehow makes you feel grounded and light at the same time. There is a wall that displays gentle numbers. It is made to be checked once in a while, like a clock that moves a little slowly on purpose. Temperature is steady. Humidity drifts in a narrow band, a light scarf rather than a damp coat. Carbon dioxide rises a little overnight when the plants are asleep, then dips gracefully during the day. The swing is not a problem. It is the pulse of the system. You can learn to sense it the way you sense the time of day, by the angle of light. After a few days, you stop staring at the screen. You walk the beds. You let your palm hover over a leaf to gauge transpiration by feel. You listen to the very faintest sound of water tapping the underside of a tray as the pump switches on and off. Everything has a signature. Everything repeats. Think of the history that makes this vision feel possible. People have tried building sealed, living habitats before, always with curiosity, often with love for the details. In one famous experiment, the oxygen inside steadily dipped lower because microbes in rich soil consumed more than expected, and because fresh concrete absorbed carbon dioxide in its own slow reaction. The lesson was not a failure, but a whisper to future designers. That every loop has a hidden bend, that living systems interpret our rules in their own time. Another effort in a long, quiet line was a deep, windowless chamber in a cold country where scientists grew crops under artificial light, measuring how much grain and how many leaves they could coax from closed cycles. Other teams in deserts and on ice have tuned airflows and water loops, learning to make small worlds that are warm and welcoming. Each lesson folds into the next, so that your imagined dome inherits patience from all those years. In your own daily life, the same care drifts through the background. The building you are in breathes through vents. Air leaves. Fresh air enters. Filters made of dense, folded fibers hold onto dust and pollen the way moss holds dew. If you were to hold a single fiber up to the light, it would look like a thin hair. But together these fibers are a forest, and the particles wandering through are slow travelers, caught in a maze, ultimately resting. Some filters are rated more dense than others, and some keep even the smallest bits from returning to the room. The fan that pushes air through them has a long, gentle note, and if you let your attention sit with it, you might notice it has a regularity that feels like rocking. The gentle rhythm continues. At the scale of your body, the dome filing is as simple as the comfort of an even temperature. Your skin senses drafts and quiets when a current is steady. A room with still air can feel stagnant, but a room with a light, constant motion feels alive. This is why, in biodomes, you often find the slightest circulation, measured by a ribbon that barely stirs. The ribbon is not decoration. It is a visual lullaby that tells you the air is moving well. You could place a ribbon near your own window and watch the same reassuring drift. That little movement is enough to carry away excess humidity, enough to keep layers of air from sitting too long on surfaces. It also carries scents gently, distributing them so no one place is overly pungent or too faint. Your nose likes balance. Consider water again. In the biodome, every surface has thought about water. Floors slope subtly to drains that look like perfect circles with a stainless sheen. Trays hold a shallow lip. Pipes feed and withdraw in cycles that align with the light. In your home, the same quiet mind operates in your plumbing, a closed loop of its own sort, with a faucet that feels familiar in the hand. But in a biodome, the whole loop participates in a story. The stream that nourishes roots returns to a small tank. Minerals are added back. The water goes out again. In the morning, misting lines lift a gentle fog that beads on leaves like little planets. The fog settles. The beads run down. They meet the soil, and your nose catches a note of petrichor, that favorite scent of rain on dry earth, the perfume of a cycle beginning again. Imagine yourself looking up. The dome's curve is graceful and quiet. The material is transparent, perhaps glass, perhaps a polymer that resists haze. Even here, there is quiet science. The panel has a coating that encourages water to sheet into a film rather than bead in 1,000 droplets. The film keeps the view clear. It also helps water run down to where it can be useful. Nanometers thin layers shift the way light reflects, making glare fade without changing the color of the light that reaches the leaves. The frame is made of aluminum that gives strength without much mass. Gaskets meet glass with a touch that keeps air steady. Every contact is careful, not by accident, but by an intention to create a place where you can rest. The gentle rhythm continues. Around the edges of the dome, a walkway allows you to explore at a patient pace. At one turn, there is a low pond with a mirror surface. If your finger breaks that surface, the ripples are broad and slow. The fish below are small and lazy, moving as if their thoughts are sedated. Aquatic plants keep the water sweet, their leaves lolling up to the light. Bacteria on pebbles digest things you cannot see and release what the plants can use. The last bit of an old leaf becomes the first bit of a new one. The fish, uninterested in the details, wiggle through the water like a drawn-out sigh. In a quiet moment, you can watch oxygen bubble from a leaf, tiny pearls that rise and wink themselves away. The scene says that nothing is wasted, that everything finds a place. The day in the dome follows the day beyond it, adjusted here and there to favor your comfort. While midday might be bright outside, the dome keeps its brightness in the most comfortable range. Louvers angle themselves like eyelids. If the sun presses, they tilt and say hush. Too much bright is exhausting. Enough is enlivening. Too little is dull. Enough lets you ease into your tasks with no effort. The same is true of temperature. Cooler morning air helps you shake off sleep. A warmer afternoon makes you fond of rest. The dip at evening reminds you to wrap yourself. The dome does not lecture. It guides. The gentle rhythm continues. In the center of this small world, there is a table with simple tools, a sprayer with a soft trigger, a bag with seeds, a cloth for wiping the quiet fingerprints that appear on glass when you lean close to look for new growth. The tools feel comforting because they ask so little. You missed a leaf when its edges look a little crisp. You tuck a seed below the surface and smooth the soil with the back of a spoon. You turn a dial half a click to lengthen the evening light by 20 minutes, because today felt shorter than yesterday. Your hand moves slowly. Your breathing is steady. Taking care of a small world moves at the speed of your own calm. Beyond the dome, in the planetary room that contains cities and hills, similar rituals unfold every day, at a scale so large it melts into the background. The atmosphere filters light for you, scattering blue when the sun is high and letting through richer reds at evening. The ocean stores heat like a vast, quiet battery. When air touches it, the air lets go of some heat at night and picks up some again by day, like someone dipping a hand in and out of warm water. The land holds tight to heat during long summer days and loosens it as autumn edges in. Trees tug water up, not with pumps or wires, but with simple physics that relies on the climb of tiny columns and the pull of evaporation from countless leaves. The number of leaves is too many to count, but you do not need to count. You can listen for the sound of all of them together, a sound like the softest rain you can imagine. The gentle rhythm continues. Take a moment to sense your own body in this. Your heart beats without fanfare. Your lungs expand and relax without need for commentary. Your skin measures heat and humidity and sends its quiet reports. Your eyes half close when the light is kind. Your shoulders drop when the hum of a fan smooths the air. The dome is both a place and a feeling. It is a design that protects, but it is also a pattern your body likes. You can create a small version of this pattern at bedtime simply by making the light lower and warmer, by letting a soft, consistent sound wash over your room, by clearing a place where your attention can rest. Imagine yourself tucked into that space now, even as you listen to this slow description. Imagine the dew as a blanket you can carry in thought wherever you go. You may imagine how food grows in a place like this. Wheat ears bending under a gentle weight. Rice stems in shallow water, their reflections shivering when the fan's breath touches the surface. A spiral of herbs, where each plant takes its favored place in a smooth cascade, from wet to dry. Even mushrooms, delicate as porcelain, rising from a tray of straw that smells like barns and rain. If you close your eyes, you see the gills of a mushroom, like tiny ribs stacked neatly. If you open them again, you see the thin mist in the corner where they grow. A mist so gentle, it feels like breath on glass. Everything is evenly paced. Nothing arrives with a startle. Growth is the indulgent patience of cells doing what they have always done, dividing, expanding, becoming, without drama. Pollination is part of the dance. In some domes, a few bees are invited in. The bees move with single-minded softness, a moving hum that vibrates your hearing, but never intrudes. They favor flowers in the morning. By afternoon, they find home and rest. In other domes, soft brushes stand in for bees. Your hand, holding a brush the size of a thumb, moves from bloom to bloom. The powder on the brush is invisible, except when you notice that a brush once cream-colored now looks the faintest pastel yellow. The transfer happens without ceremony. Fruit forms. You come back days later and see what looks like the beginning of an apple, the size of a button. It grows almost audibly under the steady light. The gentle rhythm continues. Every bit of your imagined world relies on energy, and even the word energy here is gentle. Sunlight slides in. Panels outside, collected for things that need more than light, for pumps and fans. An energy store holds it like a soft reservoir, so that nighttime does not have to be heavy. If that store is a set of batteries, they rest behind a wall, never in your view, and you think of them only as the way the fan keeps humming in the quiet hours. If the store is a thermal mass, perhaps a water tank, it sits still and heavy, letting heat flow in by day and out by night. There is an ease to this. You do not hear wires. You hear only what the wires serve. The science is there. Numbers that could be written down. Formulas that could be recited. But their presence is like the structural frame under the dome's panels. You know it holds everything in place. You do not need to hold it in mind. If you have ever built a tiny terrarium in a jar, you have touched this feeling. A scoop of soil, a bit of moss, maybe a fern cutting, a small shell for beauty, a little water. Then you seal the lid and place the jar where it can see a soft light. Within a day or two, a garden's worth of events has found its way into that sealed glass. Condensation appears at morning. Dryness returns at afternoon. A tiny fungus wave passes at day 4 and then is gone. New growth is pale at first, then turns its green face to the light. If you sit nearby, if you give yourself time and watch without expectation, you will notice that the jar has its own breathing. It fogs and clears. It sips and releases. It rests and wakes. The scale is small, but the pattern is the same that your body likes to nestle in. The gentle rhythm continues. You might wonder what parts of the planet feel most like domes. Greenhouses in winter landscapes, conservatories in old botanic gardens. These places hold a constant mildness in regions where the outside mood can be stern. You walk in from a bracing wind, and your glasses fog as the warmer, damper air greets them. The scent inside is always the same, a blend that suggests soil and leaves, and the faint ghost of flower. Standing in a conservatory, you feel the confidence of glass frames and the long experience of gardeners. Vines lean on iron ribs. Leaves lean on one another. Humans lean on the comfort of being surrounded by more life than can fit in one glance. The dome is not just protection. It is a place where the mind lets go of urgency. Outside, days may accumulate lists. Inside, leaves accumulate light. And the only list is the slow one written by seasons. Imagine, now, the invisible dome of your own room. Even if your walls are straight and your ceiling is flat, there is a curve in the way comfort wraps around you. You can shape that curve by choosing how light arrives and how air flows. You can place the bed where the gentlest current passes. You can let the shadows gather in a corner, not menacing, only restful, like the shade beneath a tree. If you leave a glass of water on the table, it will cool a little in the night, becoming a tiny reservoir of coolness. If you leave a book there, it will catch the light when you wake, as if to offer itself without insistence. In this small room, which is part of the large dome, you can recreate the same soothing cycles that make a biodome feel so welcoming. The gentle rhythm continues. In spaces like this, sleep finds you, rather than being chased. The biphasic curve of your body's temperature lowers gently as evening deepens, reaching its low point in quiet hours. Melatonin rises in the background, like a dimmer dial turned without a click. Your heart rate settles. The breathing pattern of someone at ease emerges. You may feel yourself drifting just below thought. If you notice that drift, you can imagine it like a leaf floating down a slow stream. There is no need to hurry it. There is no need to steer it. Trust the gentle slope. The dome can hold creatures besides you. A pair of small birds flutter at the far end, near the citrus trees. Their feathers carry the light like fine silk. They chirp so softly, it sounds like someone tapping a fingernail on china 2 rooms away. They pick at pests that could nibble leaves, keeping them respectful. In exchange, the trees offer a perch and a slight simplification in a world they both share. Even this exchange is gentle. The birds' movements are quick, but not sudden. They tuck their heads under their wings and become pillows with eyes. You find their presence comforting. They anchor your attention without demanding it. The gentle rhythm continues. At the edge of the dome, beyond a low door, there is a service room where the supplies rest. Sacks of coconut coir piled like firm pillows. Bins with perlite that feels like at once like pumice and snow. Liquid nutrients lined in a row. Their labels simple and free of shouting. Their caps closed strong. You unscrew one cap, and a faint mineral smell rises, neutral and clean. These are the tools that, combined with water and light, keep your small world abundant. It is easy to imagine the numbers behind them. How many grams a plant uses in a week? How much water returns by evaporation, yet even in a service room, the hum resists urgency. Racks are labeled in clean handwriting. Jars are wiped without streaks. The floor is swept, but not polished. Comfort extends to workspaces, still awake. Comment the secret word, nebula. If you are lying down, the mention of that word might spark a gentle image, a soft cloud of stars, a slow whirl of light in a dark sea. The dome above you is different from a nebula. Its edges are firm. Its purpose is here. But the feeling that connects the two is that both hold patterns that go on without needing your immediate hand. You can rest because the world is carrying a fair portion of the weight. The gentle rhythm continues. Return for a moment to the ordinary world with new eyes. Notice how your building changes its air. Most structures breathe between inside and out. Even if windows are closed, there are vents, there are small cracks, there are exchanges that the designers knew needed to happen. When you cook, a range hood lifts steam away and replaces it with fresh air, like a miniature weather system with an inlet and outlet. When you shower, a fan moves moist air out, and in comes dry air to keep corners from staying wet too long. In the cool part of the year, we keep indoor air warmer than out, so it wants to rise and leak high, drawing in a hint of fresh air low. In the warm season, the flow often reverses, and we pull warm air out with purpose to welcome in air that has been caressed into coolness by a patient machine that compresses gas and lets it expand, trading heat where it needs to go. All these motions, when tuned well, feel like the dome. No gusts, just a continuous presence. Filtration is another quiet art. HEPA filters, the kind that charm dust out of the air with a maze of fibers, do so not by catching all things like a simple sieve, but by slowing them, by drawing them into small eddies where they tangle in a gentle embrace and prefer to stay. Electrically, the molecules of a filter fiber have no drama. Mechanically, the air glides. The particles, however, bump and veer and finally rest. The effect is clean air without clamoring. If you lay your head near the intake, you feel a slow in-breath. If you lay it near the outlet, you feel a slow out-breath. The device becomes a sleeping companion. The gentle rhythm continues. Some days, you open a window. Outside, air can feel like opening the dome at the top, not to break the cycle, but to remind yourself of how it connects. Air outside has its own flavors. The smell of rain approached through pavement and soil, a soft word called petrichor, the smell of a pine in sun, the smell of early morning, which is really air that has rested over cool ground while dew formed in secret. You let this air flow through your room, and you recognize the same pattern, only larger. Exchange, refresh, repeat. When the window closes again, the room returns to its small cycle, and the large one continues outside, unchanged, waiting for your next hello. There is a pleasing stability in the way thermodynamics works in these gentle environments. Warm things share their warmth. Cool things accept it. Gradients flatten in a biodome. Heat finds the water tank and nests there in the day, then leaves in the night to keep plants from feeling the sudden edge of a chill. In a home, a rug holds heat a little longer than the tiles below. Touching it is like touching a memory of the afternoon. You can shape these flows softly. You can pull a curtain at evening to let a pocket of air rest still at a window, acting as a small, quiet blanket. You can leave a door ajar to let air drift from a warm room to a cool one, smoothing the difference. The calculations behind these effects never raise their voices. They are cups and saucers staying warm together. The gentle rhythm continues. On a larger scale, cities manage similar flows with choices that add up to comfort. Trees along a street give shade, and their leaves evaporate water, cooling the air in a way that feels like an exhale. A green roof holds rain a little longer before it moves on, reducing the sudden rush that can trouble storm drains. A light-colored roof in a sunny climate reflects some of the sun's heat, keeping buildings beneath from collecting it in vain. In the thick of a heat wave, splash pads and fountains turn hard squares into breeze-filled corners. All of this echoes the biodome's simple promise that we can take care of loops, so the loops can take care of us. When you think of the Earth as a dome, it is a tender metaphor rather than a strict enclosure. Energy still arrives from the sun and leaves for space. Meteors visit, usually as tiny sand grains that fire briefly then vanish. Yet for human life, and for most of our days, the feeling holds. There is a boundary above, there is a ground below, and in between, there is us and the company of other living things. Consider the role of the ocean. It is our largest thermal mass, smoothing the fast changes. Air travels over it and picks up moisture and mildness. Think of how like a biodome this is, only far vaster. Think of winter mornings near a coast that feel less sharp, summers there that feel less loud. It is the ocean whispering the same song water sings in a dome, only in a deeper voice. The soil beneath you is not inert. It is as alive as the plants it hosts. Even under a sidewalk, there are threads and fragments and forms moving more slowly than your eye expects. Worms pass through, leaving dark, soft strings that make space for water and roots. Bacteria and archaea continue to take apart the leftovers of life in the delicate, quiet chemistry that all life depends upon. If you were to lift a clump of soil in your hand, it would feel firm, yet springy. That springiness is the architecture of 1,000 rooms, held together by the glues and weavings of living things. Soil is a biodome in miniature, made of pores and halls, where air and water and life meet. Put it back in place, and it continues as if your hand had never visited, because cycles love to continue. When evening comes in the dome, light turns to a hue that favors both rest and reflection. The shadows captivate, not for any mystery, but for their grace. Leaves fall into silhouette. The pond reflects the first coolness. The birds settle. The fan hums as a bass line that has grown comfortable in your ear. In your own room, as evening deepens, you can do the same. Lower the light by a margin. Let the sounds simplify. Maybe you leave a small device running that offers a white noise, or brown noise, like the sound of distant rain, or a train heard from far away. Your body hears it as stability, as signal that you do not need to listen for anything else. The gentle rhythm continues. You might observe how your thoughts change in such a space. They grow slower. They drift. One thought is like a leaf, traveling almost imperceptibly down a stream. Another is like a dragonfly, hovering, then floating off without the buzz of effort. Even when you consider facts and systems, the facts settle into place like pebbles in a jar. A pebble about carbon dioxide's role in photosynthesis. Another pebble about stomata. Another about the curve of the dome and how water beads in the night. The jar is not full of agitation. It is full of small, reassuring weights that give your mind something to rest upon. The order is gentle, and the proportions are kind. If you have ever slept in a greenhouse, or in a conservatory with the door locked and the lights reduced to a faint glow, you know how sleep finds its way into such places. The air is humid in the way that comforts your lungs. The scent is mild and plant-like. The occasional drip has the same effect as a clock's soft tick. You wake, perhaps, in the night, and look up into a canopy of leaves and glass, and the suggestion of stars beyond. You do not feel vulnerable in this place. You feel sheltered, as if the glass amplifies the feeling of safety. In the morning, dew is the first thing you notice again. A gentle sheen on the underside of a pane. Tiny beads, like pearls along the edge of a leaf. Dew forms when the air near a surface cools enough that water loses its hold as vapor and decides to rest as a drop. The physics is mild. The effects are pleasing. Dew gives your eye something to settle on. It is soft focus made real. The gentle rhythm continues. There is something quietly empowering about knowing how to make a small biodome of your own. A jar and some moss. A small aquarium adapted for herbs. A window shelf with a pan of water beneath plants to hold humidity near leaves that prefer it. you do not need to turn your life into an experiment. You only bring a little of the balanced feeling closer. The plants respond with calm, and you learn to respond with the same. If a leaf begins to brown at the edges, you take it as gentle feedback and lower the light a little, or increase the mist for a few minutes each morning. The plant teaches without complaint. You adjust without worry. When you think about the future with this lens, the idea of building shelters on places where the air is thin or non-existent becomes less alien and more like a continuation of what we already do here. A dome on another world would still rely on cycles. Light would still cause sugars to form. Water would still trickle, then climb back as vapor. What changes is the firmness with which we draw boundaries. In such places, there is no invisible atmospheric blanket to share the work. The dome must carry it all. The engineering must be precise, but even then, within, the same quiet hum would guide your day. The same gentle patterns would help your body remember how to rest. It is reassuring to recognize that life prefers loops and gradients, and that we are good at honoring that preference when we choose to be. In your everyday room, small acts can turn the ordinary into a haven that feels dome-like. Placing a plant in the spot where light is kindest. Adjusting the thermostat by a degree toward what helps you drift. Creating a repeatable set of actions for evening. Dim light, a sip of water, a moment of stillness where you watch your own breath move in and out. You might even imagine that each exhale is a cloud that waters the room. Each inhale a breeze that the leaves offer back. A tiny exchange that does not need your mind, but enjoys the company of your attention. The gentle rhythm continues. Be aware of your own natural cycles. Your body temperature is not a fixed line. It curves. Your hormones rise and lower in quiet wave patterns. Your metabolism idles when it is time to idle. If you give yourself permission to follow those curves rather than stand straight against them, your sleep chooses you. This is the principle at the center of the dome. Systems find balance when given room to do so. You create that room by removing impediments and adding what makes the cycle smooth. Light, air, water, time. The familiar quartet that plants ask for. You ask for similar ingredients, plus something extra called quiet. Inside the dome, at midday, everything seems to pause. Not because it stops, but because it reaches a place where the outward appearance is steady. The inputs and outputs balance over short stretches. The plants are busy but look still. The air moves but is difficult to notice except at the longest fringes of leaves. You can lean back, align your breathing with the hum, and let your mind unspool in the nicest way. In this place, even facts feel like lullabies. Oxygen is lighter than nitrogen. Carbon dioxide dissolves in water more readily than oxygen. Angles of light change the rates at which plants transform that light. The knowledge is soft and humble. If a question about the dome's perfection wanders through, it floats away again on its own. Perfection here does not mean flawless. It means apt, suited to its purpose, generous in ways that matter, gentle to the senses. Imperfections, in this understanding, are part of the music. A leaf with a tiny bite missing tells you someone else is alive here. A drop that falls too soon tells you gravity is friendly and predictably eager. The fan that wobbles a little on startup reminds you that even machines prefer easing into their work. The gentle rhythm continues. Imagine, at last, that you stand at the exact center and turn slowly. Your eyes take in the sweep of plants, the curve of glass, the reflection in the pond, the clear panels of a battery wall beyond, the simple table with tools, the cedar bench, the path, the gentle birds, the citrus leaves with their glossy shine. Turn again, half as quickly. The sensation repeats because repetition is the secret to the restfulness the dome provides. Every day is not the same, but each day rhymes with the last. You find your place inside that rhyme. Now close your eyes and return to the sense that you carry all this with you, even if you do not sit in a greenhouse, even if your room is ordinary. You are already inside the Earth's quiet shelter, the invisible biodome that has held you since you first opened your eyes. You can be grateful for that without needing any words. You can let the sound of my voice become part of the hum. You can feel the blanket over you as a dome-like layer. You can imagine each breath, rinsing the room with a soft, invisible mist, and washing back into you as the freshest air. You are not trapped. You are gently, thoroughly held. If you drift, the dome will be here when you wake. If you stay, the images can become softer, like silhouettes behind silk. The trickle of water in the corner becomes the suggestion of a brook somewhere outside memory. The hum of the fan becomes the calm of a distant engine, carrying you smoothly through a night journey. The leaf shapes become the texture of a dream that means nothing more than comfort. The gentle rhythm continues. When you are ready to open your eyes again, you can come back slowly to the room as it is. Listen for the nearest sound that feels like a steady line. Notice the temperature on your skin. Let your shoulders drop again. Let your jaw sit slack. Let your breath fall into the slow pattern it prefers. You are safe. You are sheltered. The world outside has its cycles underway and does not need you to solve them tonight. You can rest on the trust that systems long in the making will keep turning. If you found peace here, you can like and subscribe so we can keep releasing these quiet journeys often. And you can share a little kindness with a comment if you wish. May your night be tender. May your breath be easy. May the dome around you, large or small, keep you softly and well. The gentle rhythm continues, and you can sleep.